all of it. I just really, at the end of the day, it was all about them being and staying great, sane, healthy
Human.
human beings.
Yeah.
And as parents, that's just our job sometimes to have to make sacrifices. So I thought that they would be better for it first and foremost, period. But yes, like you're saying, I knew that I could use it also as a professional pivot and take what was my side hustle here, which I was very passionate about, but Los Angeles
Yeah.
cost of living and everything that I just talked
Oh
about,
goodness.
it's that's a very difficult living.
Yeah.
So you're right. I hedged my bets, said, you know what, I learned a lot doing this. I loved everybody that I met doing it, you included. I thought I was good at it because I really focused at it. I learned a lot. But I was ready to make that shift and realize at this point in our lives, there's a finite amount of years, and you better do what you want to do. And also, like I said, the speed at which I ascended in the ranks is faster than anything of the other things that I said that I did previously. And there's just something that I cannot explain that just
Ascending is a huge word. Like I think part of how you were able, you got a lot of talent. You were very skilled. Like that was why I kind of introduced you as like you're a big piece of the pie. And some people would say like a true Renaissance man. You're an intellectual. You're well read. You're a musician. You know music theory. You know music, business, real estate. Like I would call you on advice for stuff. However, there's this whole other side of your brain that is true creative and artist. That's where the base comes from. And obviously some of the photography or all of the photography now and anything else that you would pour your heart into on that creative side. The epiphany of that picture with Maceo and knowing like in your gut that you had to do better for your family
but
and making that choice. I know you're about to say something,
I
but
was
you were
saying
just like you were
you
like
actually led me to
this whole like catapult or
but you saying it now, hearing you say it, actually made me even go back deeper because I've always had the same brain of any given day being able to flip it 51-49 either way, even from being a little kid. I've always I just maybe I don't know. Maybe I came up in an era where we just didn't get diagnosed with stuff. Maybe
that's the
Molly, my wonderful, amazing girlfriend, on any given day would say I'm probably on somebody's spectrum of something. I don't know, and it's funny,
well, we're the
But
same
my brain
age.
has always
Yeah.
so no, it wasn't like that day, that photo. So my brain has always been to go back and forth. But I would say my truest, authentic self, yes, has been the artistic me. Even as a little kid, I remember being 3, 4 on the piano, then in playing alto sax in the band, and then disappointing my dad because he really wanted a jazz musician and saying I want to play the guitar. I remember having to convince my dad to play the guitar, but Robert Cray, and I had to find like a blues, like, and not just like some long haired like dude looking like
Like
rap, like looking like
good
some
looking
hair metal
brother.
band. I had to find a respectable brother playing the
Oh
blues. Like,
yeah.
look, and then that led me to the bass, but yada yada. So
Yeah.
I've always, I've also, there was a part of me that, my parents spent a lot of money to send me and my sister to some great schools. And moving to LA, I didn't want to just be Johnny Sixth String. I
Yeah.
wanted to use my brain. I loved, working at Interscope
Which is where we first met.
and all that kind
And
of stuff.
it's
And working first for Quincy Jones's company and, then Irving Azoff's company and just being able to work for, dude, I'm just a kid from Detroit. So the fact that I was even able to work and see any of the things that I got to see in the last 20 years being here, I still can't even believe that I was witness to some of this stuff. So maybe that's also, obviously, all those experiences led to something. What I think it did for the photography is being around all of those amazing, talented people and seeing how it's done firsthand is, I think I learned to a specific sense of what I think is cool. And that's pretty much all I just shoot what I think, how, and what I think is cool.
yeah.
So I think that must be, I don't know. I've never really thought about it until you just made me kind of
Well, you made the.
think.
To me, it was like, okay, here's my buddy Chad, who I've known for a long time, who's gone through many phases, and which not a lot of people can do that.
And that's
You
what I
know,
mean. Maybe I
like,
wasn't
not a lot of
diagnosed
people
because
can
you're
do
right.
that.
I think maybe I was bored as a kid, and maybe that's why I
And you do
ended up.
find passion in like a business conversation the same you find passion in like a songwriting session.
And that's the
It's
thing. All my bad grades
that's
as
why
a
I love you,
kid
man.
were
That's why I was
the,
like, we're kind of kindred in that way. Like,
and my parents even knew as a little kid, I never got in trouble for the bad grades because they knew that there must be something about my brain that if he's not into it or liking it, he's not going to focus. He's not going to. So maybe I
yeah.
did have something that, but the things that I care and love about, I am almost like obsessed about those things, doing those things, getting better at those things.
So how does that resonate with like the folks out there? Like how you know like you're how does that resonate to say, look, man, like sometimes the voices are strong with Chad in that area when making a big decision like moving and being with his family in a completely different town, but knowing that hey, I have the ability to morph myself into some other things that I could pour my energy into. Plus, if you eliminate all the energy, which is Los Angeles, and you move to Nashville and focus 100% on the camera, which you did, and your family, then those two things are going to elevate, as you said, and rapidly fire.
It's also
Is
from
it
experience, though, having done it a couple of times here.
so? If somebody's about to go through a huge major life decision, what would be your advice to those people in regards to, because I think the contradiction here is hearing you can't do something, right? We all face that, but not in this scenario because we're talking about complementary things that you're good at. But like the things that you have to relate that to the man, I can't do that. Like if obviously you're things that you tell yourself,
Man,
oh damn,
some of that, I think about it now and I'm like, wow, I really had some great parents. I don't know. My parents just taught me that literally I think I was naive enough to believe that you can do anything. And that's what's amazing about my parents.
I'm naive enough to believe that you can do anything.
You know, like you, my parents are from rural Michigan and Americana, 1940s, 50s, 60s, rural northern Michigan. You know, my sister and I are first generation, bigger city, you know, in Detroit. So I don't know. I just, again, what you're saying, like, why not us for what, all of us? Why not any of us for anything?
Yeah.
And I believed that. And also, where we are now in life, it's also some wisdom based on life experience. Some of it is calculated risk and knowing that there's risk. Yes. And it's not doing it because there's no risk. It's doing it despite the risk.
That's it.
It's
Oh,
doing
man.
it despite the fear. It's not people who do stuff. It's not because, oh man, they're amazing because they must not be fearful of stuff or they might. No, it's doing it in the face of sheer disaster and having the audacity of that. Why not you?
Calculated risk.
Yes, it's calculated risk. Sure.
Man, if I didn't hear a better place to take a quick pause, this is the spot because I love the concept of calculated risk. And I also want to bring up, when we bring it back, you said something earlier that kind of freaked me out. You said that you were, as a child, terrified of the camera. And we just spent the last 15 minutes talking about, you know, creative stuff and life choices, and here you are in LA with a camera. So I love to kind of bring those two things up and bring everybody back. This is whylab with Michael Flowers. Got my good buddy Chad Crawford here right now. We're going to take a short break, and please stick around. Join us.